Hello YouTube, this is Chaos Ripid and this is another episode of Sudeki Grind. Oh man, like when I say I'm hoping everybody's having a blessed one, a fantastic day. I'm hoping everything in your life is enjoyable, is attainable, and I hope everybody that surrounds you bring that same energy to your life at all times. I'm just saying. Yeah, man, like I apologize for coughing. Man, I'm really hoping everybody's really having a good time out there. I believe I think Mexico right now. I haven't seen the game, so if you know it, don't tell me, but I know soccer is like out right now because World Cup, blah blah blah, the whole 9 yards. And I'm not. Let me say this now. I'm nothing against anybody who plays soccer. I'm just not a soccer fan. I've never been into sports, but people at my job, that man, like usually I don't hear so much commotion about soccer. Not in America. Let me say it that way. It's always football or baseball or something like that. But like everybody's so hyped, but they're so nice. But let me say it like this: the people I met are so nice. And it's so cool to see that, But I didn't know how big soccer was for real. Like, for real. I had no idea how big soccer was until, like, ooh. Like, I get it. It's a world sport. So, a soccer player might be making way more than a regular American football player. I know football outside the States is based, is our soccer, but just, now that we understand that, I had no idea how many people really love the sport. And it makes me feel so happy. I apologize I'm sorry for coughing. That makes me feel so happy. Everybody's cool, calm, and collected. And even if they are, hype about the sport, it's like, team spirit, put the jerseys on, have a good time. I know sooner or later I'm going to have to learn how to speak Spanish. No, seriously, I'm going to have to learn how to speak Spanish. Not because of, who's playing in the World Cup, but there's a South African co-worker who loves South Africa, the football team or soccer team. But I also see, people. I also see, I guess they're not. Mexican, a Mexican co-worker of mine. You know what I'm saying? Who reps that Mexican, flag all the time, and I can't even get mad. I am not mad at all. Go for it. I hope they win. You know what I'm saying? Because the coworkers, they have so much fun. They have so much fun with it. Even though we're all working really, really hard and we're trying to, get the job done and meet quota and stuff like that. But like even when the South African and the Mexican coworker meet up with each other, it's so cool. It is so cool because they're like, well, my team's gonna win. Well, my team's gonna win. And they just talk, Like, it is so cool. And let me be frank. There's no stereotypes. None of that. None of the stereotypes. It's just, people who enjoy the game. They come together. They can watch the game together and have a good time. And it's so cool, man. Like I never thought. I to this day I did not know that Mexico, I think it's called Mexico, had their own brain is not working. Which I'm not saying that that they did or didn't, but it's like I didn't know. Like I know we have the brain is not working today because I'm trying to stay focused. Wait, did he? Oh, good. Somebody finally got to care of him. Did I level up? No. Sucks. You know, we sing to for the American flag every time there's a right before every game. But I wanted to hear theirs. You know, my brain is not working today. Why is that? It's probably because I'm tired. You know, national anthem. Yeah. I wanted to hear the Mexican national anthem. I wanted the South African national anthem. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to hear it, and I'm probably gonna get on their head tomorrow about it. I want to hear it in its full entirety, and I want you to rep it like you love it. Your team is right there. But regardless of what, it was so fun. It was so fun, and I loved it. At break time, just somebody. Which this is why sometimes it's good to get a good job. To not say it this way, be around good people at a decent job. Somebody brought in a TV, and during break, everybody can see the World Cup. Nobody's arguing and complaining. Nobody is, you're sitting at the TV way too long. No, it's more like who won. Let me know who won, who got point, who scored. Tell me what's going on. Sometimes they'll even let it play. I don't know if it's on YouTube or whatever sometimes, but, it might even be on Tubi, to be honest with you. But regardless of whatever it's on, they say, hey, man, can you put it on there? And they'll let it play. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that, man, like, it's so cool. That is, like, the coolest thing ever, man. So cool, man. So cool. Just as and like I said, I'm not a sports person. I'm not a sports guy. I'm a nerd. I don't care. I have no care about sports, honestly. Baseball, basketball, football, hockey. I am not that guy. But at the events, I want to go. Just to be outside and chilling. Like I went to my first football game ever. And it was because somebody was nice enough. They gave up their season tickets. Said, "Hey, I think I'm gonna just not go." And the coworker was like, "Well, my husband's gonna go. Why don't you just go with him?" And I'm sitting there going like, "Are we gonna be late? Are we gonna be early? I don't know how this plays out." In the middle of the winter, my feet froze in those seats. But it was so fun. I didn't know, like I know. I'm not gonna say I know everything about football, but I will say I know, the team to root for and the team not to root for. I know who's with us, who's not. But I'm not going to front. Every time a score was dealt a bad play, I'm clapping my hands together because I was freezing. I had so many of those warming packs. I accidentally sold. Well, I didn't accidentally. Somebody asked for my warming pack. Because I think you give them at Dollar General for about $2 or $3, but they were giving them out at the stadium. But somebody needed one, and they, I guess they ran out. And he was like, here's $10. I was like, no, man, I was gonna just give it to him. He was like, no, here's $10. And I was like, okay, cool. We're having such a good time, and I will always owe that. And then here's the weird part: that person loves D&D. Think about that for a minute. That person loves playing Dungeons and Dragons. Like quiet as kept, I am really trying to put a game together so I could just thank that person, for doing that. And then finding out other coworkers love D&D also. And I'm not the greatest person at it. I horribly suck. It's not even funny. Like it's a crying shame how horrible I am at it. But I still want to play, but even still, it's like the fact that, a simple game can bring people together and we can all have fun and chill out while we're doing our jobs and stuff like that, and nobody's freaking out. Do you know how wonderful that is? I'm not repping for, soccer or football or whatever or American football. No, it's people can just come together and have some fun. No questions asked. Like, do you know how awesome that is? You know, like, man, like, and you be surprised, like, a lot of times when you meet people. Maybe not everybody might not have the same belief system or have the same cultural understandings as you do. But when you can get together and just say, okay, this is fun, we're here for this, and that's it. Put everything else to the side and just have a good time. Do you know how awesome that is? Do you really know how awesome that is? You know, I get it. People do that when they're playing video games, and I don't hate on that. You know, it's what it is. What it's made for. You know. Now, I know the new Grand Theft Auto is about to come out. You know, and you know everybody gonna be jumping on that thing. You know, but one of the biggest thing about that game, from my understanding, is how people play that game together. Or, you know, showing people how, you know, through, you know, YouTube or Facebook or whatever, streaming it to other people, you know what I'm saying? And just having a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like, really having a good time. You know? Like, you can tell when folks aren't. You know, like some people when they're not watching the game just, you know, just for the fun of the game, they're doing it for other reasons, you know? I'm not just talking about financial. I'm just saying, just, you know, they're watching it for other reasons. You know, so it kills it sometimes, but like to see these folks just get together. You know, human beings in the same room, even when the game gets like really, really hard. You know. And and the scores get so close. It's like, oh my God, I could win, they could lose, or whatever. And they're just going like, my team lost. Even the team that won is like, hey, look, there's always next year. You know, this is a golden opportunity just to have a good time. You know, like for folks out here who are listening to me talk, you know. Outside of soccer, right? You ever just after work go out and, you know, you might go to a restaurant or whatever, and you know you order everything that you're gonna be, you know, you're ordering a meal and, you know, soda or whatever, and you know all you're trying to do is just kick back and have a good time. You might talk about work because that's all you talk about all the time because, you know, it's work, but you can, you know, you start getting a connection, and you just, it's something weird when everybody's going through the same mess. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, work is work regardless, right? And you grind together, you work together, you work it out together, you solve problems together. But then when you can take the time out and just say, okay, you know, let's chill out. Even if you are talking about work, you know, you could be like, oh, you know, John was doing A, B, C, and D, you know, next to the water, I don't know, next to the soda machine, but it was so funny. You guys can talk about that like crazy, but still have a good time. Like, you can put whatever personal issues or whatever to the side, and I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm not trying to be like, you know, holier than thou and nothing like that, but it's like, you're just having a good time, you know. You kicking back. You can, you know, you let your hair down a little bit, you know, to a certain degree, because these are your coworkers. You know, technically, coworkers are not your friends. Let's be frank. But at the same time, you have a common denominator, which you work at the same place, and you might even have a kinship. And friends do. If, let me say it like this, because I want to make sure I say it the right way. Sometimes friendships just happen at work because you're around these people for 8 and 10 hours, you know. And if they're the right person to be friends with, then you start a friendship, right? But yeah, you know, you chill out and, you know, and you talk shop, but then, you know, you veer off and you talk about other stuff, or, you know, your significant other, you talk about the significant other at home, or the kids, or grandma, or something like that, and you just have a, you know, you have a human connection, you know. And you just chill out. You know, you're not trying to be super serious or whatever. I need to get faster. You know, I've been using the healing thing, but you know, we need to quicken the pace. But yeah, like you just kick back and you just have a good time, you know, and you know, you kind of let loose. You know, for the most part, you know, and it's nothing like that. Only people. That's why some jokes can work inside of a place you're working at, and some jokes won't. But some jokes work inside the job, but some of them don't. Let me see. Okay, so I'll do this. Just because we haven't done it in a while. I wonder, is his feet? Is his legs? Because his arm is a prosthetic, so that means his feet are too. Something must have tore him up. Something fierce, man. That's gotta hurt.
Come, my guardian spirit. We will hunt again.
I'm mainly just doing this just cause, you know, I don't need to. I'm just kind of showing them off right now. So please don't freak out. Like, oh my God, you already healed it. I'm just doing it just to add status, you know. I was going for everything. It sucks. But you know, you just want to have fun. You just want to kick back, relax, you know, and you know, do something different. Like back in the day, you couldn't catch me watching anything, and you still probably won't catch me watching anything that's like sports related. But when I'm at work, whatever's, if they allow us to watch TV, I will sit there and watch soap operas, of all things. I don't even like soap operas, but I will sit there and watch that because it kills time. It's like, did you see what happened to Miranda? Miranda survived. I'm like, the first thing I've been thinking of, how did this Miranda survive, you know, this surgery when the surgery failed? Like, whoa, it was Samantha, you know, her twin sister. It was like, when did she have a chance to have a twin? Why does everybody have a twin sister or a twin? Why? Why do everybody get, like, come on, you know, twins are hard enough as is to you know, to come in this world, but then you just randomly just say, oh, we're gonna use the same actor like 3 or 4 times, so what you say it's a twin, and call it a day. It's cheap. Bad storytelling, but at the same time, it's kind of awesome. But yeah, you would sit there and watch this. You would watch it like crazy. You know what I'm saying? And you just get enthralled with it. You don't even care. It's like it's there. Call it. That's how I look at sports. That's honestly how I look at sports. And it's not me trying to hate on or anything like that. It's like, it's just how I look at it. You know, so, you know, it's nothing against anybody or, you know, whatever. Just, if it was up to me, I'd be looking at MMA.
Pick up the pace.
And notice I did not say UFC. I said MMA. Yeah, you know, UFC, any kind of MMA organization and stuff like that, where, you know, they're doing MMA, and I'm gonna sit there and watch it and have a good time.
Okay, time out.
You know, or you know, if an old show would come on, and you know, I could care less about it, but it's like, it's there. If it's at work, sure. You know, I mean, HR is sitting right above us, so you know, we gotta act right anyway. So, you know, you might as well have a good time and just enjoy it.
My savage friend, your skills are needed.
I thought she did something. Maybe it's this one. I'm using this stuff up. I'm sorry. I just, yeah, there it is. The teardrop, even though it's green. You know, I was waiting for it. So. All right. But yeah, like, you know, like I said, and I got nothing against anybody, you know, but you know, I'm not a sports person, but you know what? I'll go to the sporting events just to have a good time. At the end of the day, it's just about having a good time. You know, support the team, have a good time. Chill out, have a good time. You know, be around people you know and have a good time. Get over whatever differences you have and have a good time. I'm saying the same thing over again because it makes so much sense. Have a good time. That's all it's about. You know, let whatever get up, whatever beef or whatever mess you got going on, and just let it go and have a good time. It's not worth the headache. That's what the game's doing for us, you know?
We shall not fall.
Yeah, you might not win this year, but next year, hey, there's a good chance you might. You know what I'm saying? While I'm doing all these lovely magic tricks.
Always one.
Oh, man, I know I gotta edit the video down before I send it out to YouTube land. But it's cool. I don't mind. I think I did the wrong thing. Oh, no, I didn't. Last but not least.
Hope these things work. They're still prototypes.
I ain't gonna front. That is the best blaster to have in this game. It really is. I missed. And they don't talk about Elko at all. You know. But on that note, I will say, I'm hoping that you enjoyed listening to me rant and rave. I'm hoping that you have a blessed, wonderful, and fantastic night. I am hoping that your spirits got lifted. And please, people, when you get a chance, go have some fun. Go hang out. Go do different things. You will learn so much from different places if you allow yourself to just be in the moment. Alright? This is Chaos Ripper saying peace!